Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Monaco.
And I'm Bobby Salvesen. We are the HazMat guys, bringing you knowledge and insight to make your job a little bit easier and safer.
Let's take a minute to hear about today's sponsors.
Hey guys, time to level up. New and exciting detection technologies are available, and All Safe Industries can help you navigate the details to make the best choice for your HazMat team. All Safe Industries, where your job is a safer you. Call or click today. Hey guys, Bobby from the HazMat guys here, and have you noticed that threats have evolved but decon hasn't? Well, that's until now. Hybrid decon is the latest evolution of decon tools and techniques. The concept of hybrid decon has been getting a lot of attention in the HazMat community, but what exactly is hybrid decon? Well, First Line Technology, which are the developers of Dahlgren Decon and FiberTech wipes, have produced a downloadable 24-page brochure that explains the concept of hybrid decon and why it is a major improvement over either wet decon or dry decon alone. This brochure answers all the questions you might have about how to simplify your HazMat response. You'll learn why using Dahlgren Decon and FiberTech wipes together will reduce the time it takes to set up, mix, apply, and clean up after or during an incident. You can download this free copy of What is Hybrid Decon brochure at www.firstlinetech.com or simply click on the ad below on our website.
Let's get to the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the HazMat guys. I'm Bobby Salvesen. I'm here with, hi.
Hey, Michael Monaco.
Who are you? Oh, hi, Mike.
Hey.
Who are you on the other screen?
I am me.
Oh, excellent. I think this is going to be a good topic, but before we get into this, I always get so excited about the topic, and then I'm like, oh, hold on, we got to do a little housekeeping.
I know, because people want to know where to find us.
Yeah. We are going to be in both places, Massachusetts, which I believe is one of the only two that is going to be doing a live show, a live conference, and Cold Zone, that is September and October. I don't think the dates are really firm yet. I don't feel comfortable enough saying them right now.
I think end of September for
like September 24.
Yeah, somewhere
sounds
around
right.
there. But Cold Zone is who knows? It's already had a couple of set dates that had to be.
It's
and
beyond their
knows,
control.
Man? Honestly, if crap keeps exploding like it is, what is today? Today's 6/25/20.
Yeah.
New York's doing pretty good, and like the apocalypse is falling upon California, Texas, and Florida. So we have no idea what's actually going to happen in the future.
Yeah, it's the
I mean,
Wild
we
West
do,
out
we
there.
do. We've been briefed on the inside government stuff. We've been briefed on, so we actually know what's going to happen. We just can't tell you.
We just can't tell you guys yet. And if you tune in next week, maybe you'll find out.
Yeah, we'll give hints.
And actually, I'm just looking at his gleaming face here. Todd Burton, he keeps putting up things on the university. He's going to outpace us, I think, soon.
Easily.
He just dropped me today his sixth show is THC extraction. Everything you want to get into business with. You want to watch this show because I'm like, I don't know if this is a good idea, man. Like, guys are going to get into business doing this stuff. He really lays it out well.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, not for nothing. Some of these places becoming legal, you absolutely can get into business doing some of this stuff.
Yeah, and it's not even an illicit thing. It's like even if it's legal in your state, it's still a concern because they use a lot of chemicals, pesticides, organophosphate. I mean, like a million things to keep these things as efficient as possible, and that is a concern for you guys. So, Todd's knocking it out of the park with this stuff. So go check it out in the university and see what is over there. So, the episode that we originally put together is probably going to be next week's because we were just chatting about it before, and I'm like, why don't we talk about this first? And we're like, oh, that's right. That's a good.
Yeah, it's a natural. It is something we all have experienced from multiple points of views, and our point of view on it is constantly evolving as we get older and older in whatever HazMat company we're in.
Right. So the topic of the conversation today is going to be kind of a back and forth between me and Mike about how do you bring in a new member to your company. And now I want you, all you listeners, to be in the chair of you're already in the company and you're bringing in somebody. How do you do it? And so I would like to explain the means and the methodologies that me and Mike use. And this is, arguably we're in one of the oldest true HazMat companies in the nation, in the United States. And this has evolved from day one, which was nobody knew what the hell was going on. It was the Wild West. And I think we got a pretty good system at this point.
I think we do too. I would venture to say it's good not only for the new guys, but it's good for the people who have been there a while. And we'll kind of explain that as we get into it.
So, all right. So, I would think that everybody that is listening to this is either trying to get into a company or is already in a company. I don't think there's a lot of people that are just kind of like, oh, I'm just curious about HazMat.
Yeah, I'm HazMat curious.
I'm HazMat curious, and I think a lot of people use this show as a springboard to prepare themselves for the things that are going to be asked in these companies and stuff like that. So when we get a new guy, and every your mileage may vary, but we have a system in place where you get what we call onion skinned, right?
Yep.
The perfect way it comes over, and this is a luxury, is that you come over and you're not even part of the manpower. You just kind of hang out with us for a couple of tours and see what we do.
Right. Sometimes we call them extras. Sometimes we call them non-essentials.
Yeah,
sometimes we call them unimportant.
Yes. We make them stand in the corner and look at it. And,
yeah.
No, we don't really. Well, maybe we do. I don't know. I can't even say we can't do that. But what we do is they gotta get a taste test. Now, that does not happen a lot. I'll say, actually, it's a little bit rare because it is a luxury. It's like, oh, wow, we're actually paying a guy to stand around.
Right.
Like, and they doesn't even have an assignment.
And they're not technicians at this point.
They have nothing.
That's
they just want to see what it's out.
Right. That's kind of why they're extra and they don't exist in any kind of function, is because they're technically not technicians and they're more on an observational, like, I'm going to observe what happens.
Yeah. That's the better term. So if you have that luxury, if you have the ability to have people do observer, we have found that it has been beneficial, but it is not essential.
Right.
But what will happen is we will send prospects, and this is the weird thing, and I'm not a big fan of this, is we send our prospects to our training academy, and they live there for like 6 months. Not physically live there. They work there for 6 months. It's Monday through Friday, 7 to 3, for 6 months.
Right.
And the idea is to have them learn all the parts and pieces. They become logistics, and they start moving around tools, and they're supporting classes that are going on. And I think the original intent is that they learn, oh, this is a Phillips screwdriver. Oh, this is a Betz valve.
Right. It builds the concept, and I do think it works if it's in placed properly, is that they go into the technician class knowing the equipment, so that they're spending less time being like, wait, a chlorine kit? Like, what are we talking about here? Versus the knowledge and the fundamental as to like how you use it, why, the chemical physical properties. Like the idea was to try to start making connections before they even become technicians.
Now, I'm not going to say that the administration isn't using this for a cheap manpower pool. I'm sure at some point it is. And it's probably the ticket you need to get into companies like us, because our companies, make 12% more than a regular fireman. GPOP, as we call it.
GPOP.
Right? GPOP. They don't like that. Don't call them that. But that's the price you got to pay for admission to the show.
Right. But a lot of places are just like state teams or regional teams where you are still part of your company and you're almost called out to respond if there is a hazmat run. So we know that there's lots of different systems out there, but even a system like that, where you're still part of your firehouse and you're responding separately, the idea is to figure out a way to submerge the candidate or the future technician in the system so that they get the most out of their technician program when they go through it.
Right. And just understand this, because this is like when people go through our technician class, they're like, holy cow, it's like drinking from a fire hose. I'm like, all we really did was give you the license to learn. Like, we set the table for you to go out now. There's no way. Even California, they do 6 weeks. We do it in 3.
Yeah.
And ours is extensive.
It is very, and I try to equate it to people. Actually, it's when the chiefs take the class, right? Because we often get the chiefs that come through the class, and then they're kind of like, well, I can run a hazmat scene because I took the class. Like, I get it. And I'm kind of like, well, would you tell a probie he could run a fire just because he graduated the fire academy? Like, it's the same. It really is. It's the same analogy. Like, it's perfectly the same. Just because you just graduated the fire academy doesn't mean you really understand anything about hazmat, about fire. It just means that you can survive the job long enough to learn.
Right. So now, and I'll put myself, I'm going to give a little insight as far as from the new guy perspective, because I came over, relative to Mike, newer than Mike, and there was a couple of things that really I remember stuck out in my mind as far as the process of me coming into the company that were off-putting. I'll say that.
Okay. That's a really good. What were some of the things that you were like, I think this is crap?
Well, all right. So full disclosure about where I came from. I came from across the floor, as they call it, right? So I was in the same firehouse. I was in the other special operations company, in the squad company, across the floor. And when I finally said, you know what, I want to make a move, I moved across the floor. It was great because I didn't even change my locker. I kept my locker. I knew all the clowns, and I just had to take it to the next circus over. And so here I was. And
that included hazmat training in your old company. So you were a technician when you came over.
I was one of the most beneficial guys because I was one of the most prepared guys because I was already in special operations for so long. I was already making all the money. I had every training you could possibly shake a stick at. So when I switched across, it should have been seamless. I was already trained. I was 12 years a hazmat specialist. I was a technician, right? So when I went over there, I was like, this is going to be a bunt. And then I get over there and I'm like, holy crap, look at how many tools they have. Now, Squad Company has a retarded amount of tools. And I came over and I was like, this is times 7. Like, easily times 7. Hey guys, Bobby from the HazMat Guys here. And, emergency responders across the country rely on CAVCOM for mission-critical two-way radio communication. CAVCOM's Talk Through Your Ears technology is compatible with any suit, any respirator, and any two-way radio. As an in-suit communication experts, CAVCOM has developed a completely independent communication system that can be truly advancing to your team's ability to stay fully connected regardless of the task at hand. Whether you're working from a command position or responding downrange, their two-way communication solutions deliver the clarity, durability, and reliability that extreme situations demand. CAVCOM will be at the 2020 IAFC in booth 321, where you can experience a live demonstration, and you can see and hear the difference with Talk Through Your Ears. If you can't make it to IAFC, call today for an on-site demonstration of this revolutionary system at 866-547-4988, or visit the website for additional information at cavcominc.com. That's CAVCOMINC.com. All right, let's pick up where we left off.
Yeah, we absolutely have just an S ton of equipment and things that we sometimes use and things that I've never even put my hands on a run after 15 years.
Yeah. So, one of the things that we have to do as newer guys was we had a book. We had a book of proficiencies. And, it's basically every meter, every technology of the meter, right? So not only did you have to learn meter X, but you had to learn the technologies of the meter. So let's say you had a 4-gas meter and it had electrochemical, it had metal oxide, it had catalytic bead. Okay, fine. You had to learn those technologies. Those are the foundational things. That was in like block 1. And then you tell them about the meter. And every time you came in to do this, I thought the way I came over was when you came into like a squad company or one of the special operations, everybody was there helping you get ready. Like everybody was involved. 5 guys all day long, and you were just like, oh my God, I can't take it anymore. But you're the new guy, you're like, okay, keep drilling. I can't wait. This is awesome. And 20 hours in a day, you're like, the teacup is so full, it's just pouring out the sides now. I can't remember anything anymore. But you sit there and smile because you want to be in there. And then I came over to HazMat, and there was nobody helping. Nothing. It was a vacuum.
Well, okay, so is it that nobody helped you, or there just wasn't the line of people forcing you to learn?
Yeah, that's the difference. It wasn't like in the squad company, they were, I'm not going to say pushing you along, but it was almost a little bit of showmanship where they wanted to show what they knew.
Right.
And it was negative as much as it was positive. You would think, oh my God, I'm just being helped with all these guys so much. But it was negative because it was just drinking from the fire hose. You could not keep up with the level of instruction.
Yeah, for months. And you see these guys, it's like watching a toddler being force-fed.
Oh my God.
They're like, I'm full. Oh no, here comes. It's like eating at your Italian grandmother's house, right? You're like, Grandma,
Yes.
I'm full, and she's like, oh, but here's the next course. And you're like, oh my God, I can't eat this.
I'm gonna blow up. So that was that mentality, which over time you get used to, and then I go across the floor, and it was a vacuum, and it wasn't. I was kind of standing around looking for people to come over to me, and it was like, this is not how this company runs. And so they were, if you go and ask somebody, hey, what does this do? There was never a time where I was told, I'm busy doing this. Never.
Right.
Which is good. What was weird is that, and I didn't understand this in the beginning, and this is kind of one of the conversation parts I want to talk to Mike about, is that in the beginning, I'm like, all right, so I have to learn about catalytic bead. Where's all the information for that? They're like, go find it. Research it. And I'm like, yeah, but there's 600 people that have come into this company before me. There has to be documentation. Where is it? They're like, there is none. And I'm like, that's bullshit. Like, why don't we have that? Like, all right, that's my job. I'm going to build this thing. They're like, no, you're not. You're going to make your own notes. And then when you're done with them, you're going to burn them.
Right. Right.
And I'm like, this is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. It didn't make sense. It's like, why aren't we helping each other get there? And in the beginning, I was very resentful of it.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of guys are, because the fire department, right? Like when you're a probie, it's the same, right? So your squad and I was never in a squad, but I see what they do every day to the new guys that come in, and I just kind of like chuckle and laugh. It was like being a probie, like to the power of 10.
Yes.
Like it's that same mentality, and it's that same embrace and like hug, and we're gonna force feed you everything. And then the HazMat was, you need to learn how to learn.
Right. And so that takes me to part 1 of where I resented to. Right, and we're going to come around to this because I think this is part 1 and part 2, and then we can have the full discussion. There's a lot of lead up, but I think you guys are going to kind of relate to this. Is that part 2 of the thing is that, okay, I did all my investigation. I learned all about catalytic beads, or whatever, Wheatstone bridges, whatever you guys call it, and now it comes time for me to get my sign off. Right? I've learned all I had to learn. It's time for me to now profess my knowledge, my newfound knowledge. Now, this is many months after I did my technician, and in my case, it was almost a decade after I'd done my technician level. So it was a little bit of a refreshing. So now I stand at the whiteboard, and I have 7. Now I'm a technician. I haven't attained my specialist level, which is another story for another day. But I'm a technician, and I have 4 or 5 specialists standing around me. These are the aces of the company, right? And now I'm going to tell them all this stuff. So I'm not pushed back by this. I'm like, you know what? I could present to a crowd of morticians. I have no problem, right? So I start spouting this stuff off, and they start peppering me these questions. I'm like, these are bullshit questions. Like, why are they being like? Douchey. I just did a great presentation. I know I did a great, and they're just asking me questions for what? Just to hear themselves speak, to try to trip me up. It didn't feel comfortable. I'm like, this sounds malicious now.
Yes.
And
there's a I'm not going to say there's a reason for it. There
totally is.
Yeah, there's a reason for that style. And yes, do we enjoy watching somebody squirm?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It is
fills
delicious.
My heart with joy. But to push a little bit past that, if we can pull away for a moment from the new guy and talk about an operation, in a fire scene, and I know we've talked about this before, but on a fire scene, the person who is supposed to know the most is the incident commander. And just by the very nature of the job, right? Somebody who studied for chief, somebody who's been on the job for 40 years, 20 years, has this wealth of information and knowledge, and they're running the fire scene, right? They're if they say, take that line to the exposure, you're like, there's a reason that incident commander wants me to take the line to the exposure, and I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to question, right? Like, that's just the mentality of the fire department. Like, the incident commander is all-knowing, benevolent God.
Yes.
And in a HazMat scene, the incident commander is usually the least knowledgeable person about HazMat, and he's in charge of the scene.
Right.
So when we set these sign-offs up, we're really looking to ask questions that incident commanders have asked us, because I don't just want that person to know how to use the meter. They need to be able to be peppered with stupid questions coming from people who don't really know what's going on and explain things to them. They need to do what our goal was in this podcast, which is to take the really complex things and break them down to a 5th grade level, explain it to an incident commander, be able to give them their opinions and their suggestions so that the incident commander can make a proper decision, to the point that the incident commander is comfortable, which means you can't look like a doofus. You can't start to stutter. You have to be like, I know my shit. This is what it is. And there is zero doubt in that person's mind that you don't have 100% control and knowledge of what's going on in front of you.
Right. That, and then, so after I do all my sign-offs, and I'm there, and I'm stewing, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not getting worn down. I'm going to keep going through these things. And the senior guy, Joe, Mike knows who he is, Joe and I've known Joe because I've been in the house for so long. I knew Joe, and Joe was like, I could see it. You're not agreeing with this methodology. Tell me about it. So I told him. I said, I think it's kind of bullshit. I think it's I think it's a little bit of hazing, which I'm not opposed to. But I'm like, he's like, you would think it's hazing. He goes, and like Mike said, he goes, there's going to be times when you're the guy that's sitting back. You call it tech ref, we call it resource, whatever. The guy that stays back at the rig and is doing all the paperwork, the investigation, the research, the resourcing, and the entire company is downrange. Everybody's in the warm zone doing decon, going down doing mitigation, moving bodies, whatever it be. And the chief of department is going to turn around and see your front piece, and he's going to be like, you, come here. What the hell are they doing down there? And he goes, and now you have the light of 1,000 suns.
Yes.
Because there's a galaxy of stars standing in front of you.
Yeah.
And the pressure's on.
You've never seen the Milky Way shine as much as when you have a chief of department, a 4-star chief, a 3-star chief, a deputy chief, and 4 battalion chiefs all at a command post going, what did he just say?
Yeah, and your battalion chief who knows you and goes, well, we're waiting,
Right.
like in Caddyshack.
If you're lucky, for us, your battalion chief knows you. If you have a covering battalion chief and a covering officer, you are literally the person running the scene.
Right. So, like, that is the important. And when he said it, I go, all right, now I get it. Now I get it. You're building the skin so that I can speak with understand, and I can explain it to their 5th grade level. That's the key. And so when these specialists are peppering me with these ridiculous questions, they're playing the part of chiefs. That's the point. And I'm like, holy crap. They're not busting my balls. They're just trying to trip me up, as a chief would do, unintentionally.
Right.
But they're going to throw out some stupid questions to you. What do you got? And if you say, hey, listen, we got a full Class 5 roaming vapor on the 5th floor, a line from Ghostbusters, that is a totally acceptable thing.
Which I've done.
You can say that, which we've done. We've done it. We've said, yeah, we got an unlicensed nuclear positrator in the basement. We're just dismantling it. Give us like 5 minutes, we'll be out of here. We do this like 3 times a week. They're like, really? Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
But that's an important concept that I think a lot of companies, departments, and teams should utilize. And the other one, and I'm just going to track back to this, and I think we can probably end it on this one, is that the research wasn't done before. And it kind of stuck in my craw on that one. I didn't like that one. But now that you're hearing why we're building that guy and the way we're building it, is that it forced me to go and find the good resources.
Yes.
Forced me to take good notes. Forced me to collaborate with people that are in the company. Forced me to get good information, bad information, filter the information. Forced me to put it into a clear, cohesive organization and present it. And then after it was done, it's not nobody else's. I as a specialist now, I can't even ask the new guys and say, hey, do you mind letting me have your notes? They're like, nope.
Nope.
I'm proud of them.
And I get annoyed if I'm like, hey, those look familiar.
Yeah, they look like my notes.
Or they look like somebody else's notes from the past. And I'm like, you didn't write your own notes, did you? I'm like, where's your stuff? No. Because now, I mean, listen, oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking like this. Am I seriously going to do this?
Yeah, do it.
Fuck,
Do it.
I'm gonna feel like a total douche. When I came on, we didn't even have internet in the firehouse, and so literally any research you did was outside the firehouse. Like I literally had to go sometimes with my public library to pull stuff and find stuff, and then photocopy it, references, and then bring it back to the firehouse so that I could see if it matched with this. The only real information that we had were a library of textbooks. Mm-hmm. Like literally a whole, I mean, we've pretty much gotten rid of everything now. There was video cassettes up the wazoo. None of them labeled, by the way, because why would we do that?
Some of them were surprises.
And all, hello. And the manufacturer's pamphlets, like the books that came with the meters or the pumps or whatever the equipment was. There's a whole filing cabinet in the office, and every single piece of literature about that item is in there, and you gotta find it. You just gotta kind of know it's there. And now with the internet, it's so easy to have that information at your fingertips that it becomes really a slap in the face if somebody is not doing their own research.
Yeah. So, the point of this whole show, and this is the the preface to, or the preface, the emphasis on the other syllable,
tomato,
to the show that we originally intended to do, is that if your training is just checking the boxes, you're doing it wrong. While you're checking the boxes, and everybody's getting their boxes checked there, is that you should be building depth and you should be thinking downrange. You should be thinking isolationist. I think you should be thinking much broader. You want to build. Are you building a technician, or are you building a technician helper?
Right. Yeah.
That's the point.
A thinker, somebody who can think and put pieces together, or just somebody who's, I have an acid, let's neutralize it. Right. There's got to be something there. And this system, although, it seems like it's, 7 guys sitting in front of you, all peppering you with questions like this mass of knowledge. We use this system to our benefit as well.
This is the key. This is the big point.
This is where, if a guy, all right, so if we announce, hey, there's a sign-off happening, and I don't show up to that sign-off, I'm kind of looked at like
absolutely.
Oh, what are you, a douche? What everything? You don't have to sit through this.
What's more important than this?
Because there is guys, girls. Is there anybody who remembers every bit of information that they've ever learned about a meter, a chemical, a piece of equipment, a this, a that, with the numbers and the dilations and the blah, 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 blah? I can't remember all this crap. It's the only stuff I remember is the shit we have to teach constantly. So when I'm as a senior guy in a company, when I am sitting down listening to these news guys put out information, I look around and I see people going oh crap, right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
And this is where, you start to really have a system in place that allows guys to constantly refresh on fundamental information.
Yeah. No, and plus it allows that senior guy who, let's say a super senior guy, right? One of those guys that's revered, like let's say Joe. Right? Okay. Joe had about, I want to say when he got it, he had 78 or 79 years on the job. He had
easily.
Pretty much, I think he was born on the job. I think in Proby class he came on with Moses. And the thing is that even Joe is so senior, he's like, we wouldn't even let him drive anymore. It wasn't that he was so old. They're like, listen, you just sit here. And we're going to make you some tea, and we'll take care of you. But the thing is that even guys that are too proud, too I know everything, they're sitting there and still sucking up that information. They are getting a refresher in a can.
Yeah.
That is the best thing. Even officers, they're supposed to know more than you, and they're getting a refresher. They're evaluating their membership. Are these my specialists? Are these guys peppering the guys as they should be? Are they hitting them hard enough? Are they hitting them a little too hard? Are we, are we evaluating the right spots? So, me personally, it's not my book to give up. I personally have no problem sharing our book, our sign-off book, and I'm sure everybody's already had one.
Yeah, but it's literally, our sign-off book is literally just every piece of equipment.
That is true. That is true.
It's
and
not.
We've changed it to make it evergreen because now we just have, we don't have a specific meter name. Now we just say, 5 gas.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of retyping it every time we get a new meter.
But it's the questions that are important. It's the you think about if you want to start to institute a system like this, you sit down and you ask ridiculous questions and you make that person make connections. Ask the questions that are going to make them make connections, and they're going to be the stupid questions like, well, what happens if this, this, and this were to happen? And it causes the person to think. It causes the group to think. And as if you're one of the more senior guys or you're an officer in your company, what Bob was saying by evaluating the members is that you now have 7 people in front of you, 8 if you count the person doing the sign off. Well, what if guy A over here hasn't asked a single question. Has he not?
Is he a dim bulb?
Yeah, has he not
somebody
asked the
needs more
question
training?
because he hasn't made those connections himself, so he doesn't know how to formulate a question to ask, or is he no longer engaged? Like, there's a lot that happens.
Is he in learning mode?
Right. Yeah. Is he still is everything this new guy saying? He's going, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, I forgot it. Oh man, that was something that was important that I forgot about. It's a way to evaluate the team. It's a way to evaluate the new guys. It's a way to evaluate yourself.
Dude,
right?
I can't even tell you how many times during these things where the new guy, because everybody's doing a fresh take. I cannot tell you how many times I'm sitting there, okay, we're doing catalytic beat. How many different ways can you do catalytic beat? And I'm like, I had no idea about that. I'm like, holy crap. Are you serious? Yeah. There's been times, like, I'll give you a specific example. The was it the fluorine paper or the KI paper?
With the hydrochloric acid?
Yeah, I think it was the KI paper.
Okay.
It was the KI paper. So the specific brand that we bought says it needs 37% hydrochloric acid to activate the pH. Now, it doesn't say it needs it. It just it enhances the thing. This is an old HazCatting thing, but we didn't know about the HazCatting at this point when this topic came up. And he goes, yeah, you need hydrochloric acid to activate the thing. And we're like, what?
Yeah.
What? And he's like, yeah, it's right here on literally the second sentence in the instruction manual. We're like, we've never seen that. Like, the whole company was like on its side. We're like, holy crap.
And it turns out it was because they switched companies.
Yeah.
They switched manufacturers. We didn't know it. And when the new guy came in, he grabbed the literature from whatever X, Y, and Z company it was, and that's what it was. And the only way that we realized that this was a totally different strip is because of the sign-offs.
So the new broom sweeps the best.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the HazMat Guys.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel at The HazMat Guys, and take a moment to call our comment hotline at 843-628-1484.
And we are always looking forward to your feedback about information or interesting incidents that you were a part of, so send us a note at feedback@thehazmatguys.com.
Remember, guys, don't just get on the job, get into the job.